Greatest moment.
I mean, what started everything. You
Don't
should
say that. don't say the shot against
Yeah,
Georgia.
that was the greatest moment because I think that took me from if I had any doubts about playing on college level or playing with the big guys, that shot gave me the confidence that I belonged where I was, and that it was, if you put your mind to doing whatever you want to do, good things can happen, so before anything else happened with Michael Jordan outside of that game and against you guys, that shot gave me the idea that I could be better than what people think, and I can, surpass any expectations that I may have for myself.
Let me turn it. When you look back at your career, particularly in the NBA, when you started off in the NBA, you did a lot of exceptional things yourself individually.
Right.
And then later on, 96, 98, you guys start really winning championships.
Right.
Evaluate the difference in the two.
Well, I even go back further. I mean, you come out of college, you got a lot of gifted talent and some knowledge from your coach, and when you get to the pros, you have to blend that knowledge as well as your individual talent. And you don't know where you stand. I came into the league thinking I was the last on the totem pole. That was my thinking. I didn't come in thinking I was on top. So I had to work my way past all my teammates, and they're all guys within the league, to prove and establish myself as a basketball player. So, I was gifted, I was talented, I knew how to play the game. I didn't know how to play the game on the professional level. I had to learn that. And it took some years of learning, watching Magic Johnson, watching Larry Bird, see how they can play, impact games when they're not scoring. Or, they score 4 points, they still make the big plays down the stretch. These are things that you learn in the process of maturing in this league, and as I watched, I began to adapt. And I became more complete. I wasn't one-dimensional. The one thing I never wanted to be was one-dimensional. Everyone saw me as just a scorer, one-on-one player, but I knew I was better than that. I came from a great program at North Carolina, teach you how to do more than just one thing. So I spent the rest of my career trying to evolve as a player, and when our team got to a point where we can contend, I had to assume the leadership role. I had to, other guys had to step forward, and then when we got to that point where we were winning, all the bases and all the foundation has been built. Now it's just a matter of, can you mentally get yourself back each time to challenge yourself more so than the opponent, but yourself, to be that hungry each and every time you stepped on the court. That took some evolving over the course of my career. And when I got to that point, I had no doubts that I couldn't win anytime I stepped on the court, or that I couldn't inspire people to win no matter how many times I stepped on the court.
I want to ask you some true and false questions. Just three.
Just three, okay.
Just three. Michael Jordan is the greatest basketball player ever.
False.
Why?
Because I didn't play against, all the great players prior to me, and I had those other players to influence my game. It's a great honor, don't get me wrong, but I love to have played against Jerry West to determine if I was a better guard than him or Oscar Robertson, but we'll never know.
Michael Jordan, had he stayed with baseball, would be playing in the big leagues now.
I believe that. A lot of people may not, but I believe that. And I gave, for that short amount of time, I gave the dedication to the game of baseball a true effort. It wasn't, I wasn't there making money. I wasn't trying to endorse any product. I was truly there for the love of the game. I was up at 6 o'clock with bloody blisters all over my hand, just trying to show that I could play this game. I grew up playing this game. I loved baseball. And at the time that I stepped away was a time where, I was being asked to be, being thrown into a situation that involved, baseball strikes and things of that nature. And that was never my intent, So I kind of walked away before I was thrust into that whole event.
Michael Jordan will absolutely never play in another NBA game after this season.
That's a fact. I will not play in another NBA game. I will play basketball. I'm glad you said NBA game. But I got kids who love the game of basketball. I got friends who love to talk trash about me. I got a lot of young kids who love to compete against me at my camp. I'm still going to play the game of basketball. But from an NBA standpoint, that's it. This is the last year.
A lot of kids copy you, and a lot of things that you did were things that people had never seen before. Did you ever practice those things, that creativity, that self-expression that you did, some of those shots you made?
No, I never did. I mean, you know, obviously when you're as a kid, you want to count down 5, 4, 3, 2, 1 to make the game-winning shot. Yes, but I mean, in terms of the creativeness, I think you've seen it. You know, it has happened in situations where the defense dictates what your reaction may be. But then once you do it once, you know you have a gifted talent to create. You know, in any other situation, you try to alter, you try to change. But all it was the expansion of Elgin Baylor, Dr. J, all the guys who was creative before you. And I grew up watching them, so the vision was there. It's just the creativity expanded with my talent.
What motivates you, fear or the feeling of wanting to conquer or be successful?
What motivates me is the unknown. No one knows. You know, they can all speculate, but no one really knows. And you know, when you look at my career from high school all the way up through through the pros, no one knew what Michael Jordan was capable of. You know, and myself, I didn't know. You know, but I didn't let that stop me. You know, and I let that motivate me more so than anything. That as long as it's unknown, that means I have a chance. You know, and that's the way I pursued my whole career.
Have you ever gone on the court and been afraid?
No, I've never been afraid. I mean, obviously you're nervous, but afraid means you're not confident in your skills. I have total confidence in my skills, so I'm not afraid.